What's up, church? Ow! What's up, Church and Flow fam? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then stick around, see if you love me. And if you do, then subscribe and turn on the notification bell. If you're not new here, then welcome back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for loving me as much as I love you. And let's get right into today's video. So in last week's video, if you guys know, we are doing a team building and management series for our, Boss Bitch Tuesdays, as I'm liking to call them. And last week we talked about how to choose your team for your business. So if you haven't seen that video, boom, boom, go check out that video and then come back here. Today we are talking about how to delegate tasks within your business. I want to say that this is probably something that I struggled with the most. I touched on it a little bit last week, is figuring out what to delegate and how to delegate. And I figured out that there really is an entire process to doing it. It's not just something like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get somebody to manage my social media, and then boom, you got somebody managing your social media. Like, you have to be specific when it comes to the tasks that you need help with. And that is how you really build and grow your team and make it effective and actually get the bang for your buck. So let's get into it. The first thing is to know what can and cannot be delegated. If you are somebody who is an influencer, for example, you can delegate social media management, such as posting videos, scheduling the content, doing engagement. But what you cannot delegate is taking your pictures and recording and creating your videos. If you're a YouTuber, you can delegate video editing. But if you're like me, you cannot delegate the recording of the video. It's windy. I'm really hoping y'all not getting none of the wind. So make sure you figure out what you need to do yourself in order for things to run smoothly, and what you can delegate and pass off to somebody. Sometimes there's part of the task that you can break down, and you can do the first part and they do the second part, or vice versa. But figure out what it is that cannot be delegated to another person. 2, which is a big one, is pay attention to your strengths and your time. The value of delegation is actually saving your time. So if you're delegating things, but you're still putting in the same exact amount of work that you were putting in before you started delegating, or you're putting in basically the same amount, like, hopefully y'all can't hear that. But if your strength is, I keep using myself as an example because of the fact that what I do is social media management and I delegate tasks. So if my strength is content creation, but that's what I delegate, and it takes me forever to do website stuff and to do engagement, because engagement is something that actually takes time. It's not something that, is based on how efficiently you can do it. Engagement, you got to do it for a certain amount of time, talk to a certain amount of people, say a certain amount of stuff, so in order for it to be effective. So you're really not saving yourself as much time as if you were to delegate the engagement or the website, the stuff that takes you longer, and then you focus on the parts that don't take you. Sorry, there was you focus on the parts that don't take up as much of your time, that you're good at, your genius. Basically, you need to be able to still focus on your genius while giving the stuff that is not your genius, you're not good at, it's not your strength, and it takes you the longest, or it takes you the longest amount of stuff to do, and delegate that to somebody else. So you need to know your strengths first in order to delegate your weaknesses. So acknowledge, write down, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what takes you a long time. Look at how much time you're spending doing things in your business, and look at what it is that you don't enjoy and what's taking you the most time to actually get done. Number 3, determine the desired outcome after outsourcing. That's what I was trying to say. Are you trying to save time? Are you trying to level up in quality? Are you trying to level up in quantity? If you're somebody who's delegating social media management, for example, what is your goal? Yes, we all know we want to grow our social media and build it and build our community. That's a given. But what are your other goals? Why do you feel like you need somebody else to do this? Is it that you do not have the time to put in the work that you need to? Is it that you do not have the capacity to make as much content that needs to be created? What is the purpose behind the outsourcing? What are you trying to get done? Are you trying to save your time, which I feel like is one of the best parts of outsourcing? Even if you get somebody who's just way better at something than you, and while upgrading your quality is always great, it's always needed, it's what you do when you outsource, but also the best part of it is the time saving. Because I know people who, honestly, the quality of their content is not that great, but they're still successful because they're picking and choosing what they're spending their time doing. Number 4 is to clearly set the tone with whomever it is you choose to work with. Now, if you want to know how to delegate, if you want to know how to choose somebody to work with, then you're going to want to see the last video. But making sure that whoever it is that you do decide to work with understands the tone, understands expectations, and understands what their strengths and weaknesses are, so that the things that you are giving to them are the things that they are able to be efficient at, so that they are worth the money that you're spending on them. If you're giving somebody video editing and they're not good at video editing, they're good at copywriting, it don't make no sense. So make sure that you are delegating tasks that go to people who are working within their strengths when they work with you as well. Number 5 is to allow for there to be a learning curve. One thing that I cannot stand, it's the most irritating thing ever, is when people start working with somebody new, and whether you are hiring a social media manager, or you're hiring a virtual assistant, or you're hiring a graphic designer, or website designer, do understand that every brand, business, and individual is different. So, even if it's a bunch of similar types of brands, the person is different. What they want is different. Their work culture, their brand voice, all of that is going to be different, which means there's always going to be some kind of learning curve for whoever it is that you hire. So allow for that time for them to learn you, for you to learn them, for you guys to figure out the best way for you to work together that is the most efficient and the most effective for what it is that you're trying to do. Is going to take a learning curve, not just for them, but for you also. If you've never hired anybody before, you don't know how to do this. Trust me when I say I did not know how to do this. I didn't know how often or how not often I should talk to the people that I hire. I didn't know how to run a team. It's going to be a learning curve for both people involved, because you're learning how to collaborate and work with somebody else on something that is very important to you. So allow for that learning curve. Do not expect for them to just come in and miraculously change everything in your business in a week. That's not how life works. It's not that way. The 6th thing is master communication skills. That is the last thing, and probably one of my favorite things, because when it comes to people that I hire and people that I work with, one of the things that I always stress enough is the importance of communication. And a lot of businesses and work cultures, communication is not great. People will give you these broad tasks and not give you the details or let you know what it is that they really want, and you can't ask, or people don't ask questions when they don't understand something. Communicate. Make sure that you're clear about the things that you want the person you hire to do. If you are somebody who is getting hired, make sure that you're clear when you do not understand, and you're clear about the work that you were able to fulfill, and in the timeline you're able to fulfill it. Be clear about deadlines, be clear about details, learn how to communicate. And if something is not right, learn how to respectfully communicate that something is not done correctly. It is not okay to hire somebody and then they make a mistake and you come at them all left and start talking to them all crazy, like calling them everything but a child of God, or sending them long emails like, you need to get it together, or I don't expect this type of work, this is unacceptable. All of that's not necessary. If somebody makes if it's a repeated mistake, it's one thing. But if somebody makes a mistake, they're a human individual that is working for you, so you cannot expect for there to be perfection. So that means that you need to just communicate with them, hey, this was done this way, next time can we make sure that we do this? Please make sure that we do this, because that is how, that's how you keep employees happy, and that's how when somebody works for you, you make them want to do a good job, because if you're talking to them all crazy, nobody wants to do a good job for you. Trust me when I say you throwing money at me is not going to make me want to do a good job for you if you're talking at me crazy. It's not. It don't work that way. And that's how it is for most people. You ever notice how in a lot of places where you have bad employees and work does not get done and you got to wait for your food forever, the management is trash. There is a reason for that. You are only as good as your leader. They always say you're only as good as your weakest link, but if you have a good leader, that weakest link won't even be weak. You have to be able to lead, delegate, communicate respectfully and effectively. So learn to master communication and how to delegate tasks in a way where they understand you and they do not feel berated by you. Allow for mistakes, allow for things to happen, because these are human people that you are hiring. They are not robots, so do not expect perfection. So that is how you delegate tasks within your business. If you are somebody who has no idea what to delegate, let me know. And even though it's not on the list, I can do an entire video about different things that you can delegate within your business, whether you are a product-based business or a service-based business. Let me know. If you've made it to this point in the video, then you love me, right? You love me, you like what I do, you feeling me, all that good stuff. Make sure you subscribe, turn notification bell so you don't miss the rest of this series. If you guys want more lifestyle, beauty, girl content, or just other content other than the businessy stuff, I do those on Friday. So make sure you stay tuned. It's Tuesday. Make sure you stay tuned till Friday so that you can get the next video. You feel me? So make sure you stick around, all that good stuff. And make sure you follow me on my socials, cherishingflow_ on Instagram and cherishingflow on everything else. I love you guys ever so much. If you guys have any social media related, business related, girl boss related, self-care when it comes to business related content you guys want to see, drop it in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys in the next